deep in the forest lies a treasure beneath the earth. This hidden treasure can't be found by humans alone. It takes a trained pig or dog with an incredible nose. Once discovered, it's carefully harvested. Even a small shock can destroy its precious aroma. Only dirt and foreign substances are lightly removed. No need for complex processing. It's perfect on its own. This is the diamond of the earth truffle mushroom.
We are go for liftoff in T-30.
Stand by for further instructions, Minnesota Black Robe Regiment.
Secondary guidance systems engaged.
Minnesota Black Robe Regiment, it will be on my mark.
All systems are a go. All systems are a go.
Minnesota Black Robe Regiment, you are over the target. You are authorized to fire at will.
Hey, good Sunday afternoon. We're going to be talking about Jami Lucas, and a slight change of plans for this episode, episode 2 of The Perfect Victim. The reason we are having a slight change of plans is that we have some breaking news, and it's breaking for my audience, but it's been out there for a little over a week now. Cass County Sheriff's Office in Cass County, Minnesota has finally announced that they are going to be doing a search for Jami officially on Wednesday, May 6th. So just a few short days from now. And that's a big deal. It's his birthday, would be his birthday, but it's nearly 6 years since Jami went missing, and we're going to be talking a little bit about what searches are and what they have looked like for Cass County in the last 6 years since Jami went missing. So I just want to get a couple of housekeeping things out of the way. First and foremost, I woke up at 1:30 this morning and I was deathly ill. I was nothing. I believe I was exposed to some toxic wood mulch mold spores doing yard work yesterday, and it's been kicking my butt since about 1:30 this morning. And I wouldn't even be doing this afternoon, if it weren't time sensitive, and very important for everyone to understand how important it is to break down the search for Jami and what the searches for Jami have looked like in the past when Cass County has been at the helm. Two, I want to shout out to Natalie, my volunteer researcher. She is forever going to receive show producer credits on the show, where the shows that I'm doing are distinctly due to the fact that she has been quietly and without any recognition really from anyone doing so much research. And just the last 2 weeks alone, the amount of research and working to pull things together for me, for Natalie, it has been absolutely mind-boggling how busy this poor lady has been. So Natalie, thank you so much for what you do. Channel members, thank you very much for everything that you do. And please know that between Natalie and all the channel members, you're much appreciated. While we're at it, please hit the like, share, and if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel. And if you were here right when I hit the go live button, we were watching a little video about pigs that are trained to hunt for truffles. And if you didn't catch it, we're gonna watch it again.
Hidden deep in the forest lies a treasure beneath the earth. This hidden treasure can't be found by humans alone. It takes a trained pig or dog with an incredible nose. Once discovered, it's carefully harvested. Even a small shock can destroy its precious aroma.
There we go. Specially trained pigs. Now you're like, well, what's that got to do with Jami? And here's what it does. As you can see here, pigs can find nearly impossible rare truffle mushrooms and deep beneath the earth. Truffles sell for hundreds of dollars an ounce. They're valuable. These specially trained pigs take years of work to become skilled, and that investment is worth it. But today, we're going to talk about another group of specially trained pigs, paid, equipped, and sworn to protect. It couldn't be bothered to even search for something, or should we say someone, of inestimable value to the people who love him. Today, we're going to talk about the search that never really was and what that failure means nearly 6 years later. So, what we have in this case is Jami Lucas goes just out on his motorcycle, is being followed by law enforcement, and they give chase to him on July 3rd, 2020 in the evening after now Sheriff, well, back then he was just a deputy, says, "Hey, I see that somebody I know to be Jami Lucas, and he's out here riding, and he shouldn't be. He doesn't have a license. He doesn't have a license to ride." And so that starts this call, right? And we have the dispatch log. We have the dispatch log right here. If you can see it right here, the dispatch log starts at 8:39, so 8:34, 20:34 hours. State's driver motorcycle took up on him into the woods, requesting canine. So this call goes out from Deputy Brian Welk that he spotted this motorcyclist, Jami, and they give chase to him, and then Jami turns down a road and flees, ditches his motorcycle according to the official narrative, runs into the woods. And in the last episode, we watched a short clip of body cam video of a irresponsible deputy chasing Jami through the woods with a gun drawn, yelling, "Jami, put your hands up, Jami, don't run from me," and on and on and on. This is what happened. Then Jami disappears. They call for a canine. Eventually, the canine's called off, doesn't show up. And after a while, they just give up the pursuit of Jami. They're just done. They then make the decision that they're going to charge him with a long form complaint for what he did. In other words, they're going to go back and they're going to write up a complaint and get a warrant issued for him, which, by the way, it took them a very long time to get around to doing that warrant. And we'll cover that warrant aspect, but they did not file charges against Jami for a long time. He had no warrant at the time they were chasing him, even though they claimed he did. They claimed he had a warrant, but he didn't. The first people to put a warrant out for him, let's say within a week or so of his disappearance, and that was his probation office team. They put a warrant out on him for probation violations. The actual warrant for his fleeing didn't come for a very long time. And to make matters worse, if it's possible to make matters worse, they how do I want to say it? They didn't care enough about Jami to really search for him until his mom, Sandy, God bless her soul, doesn't hear from him for a few days. And then they finally get around to going and look for him. And here's from one of the deputies. And here's this report was from 2 days later, July 5th. We have Chad Emery saying on July 5th, 2020, at approximately 13:33 hours, I, Deputy Chad Emery, assisted with the search of a missing person on July 3rd, 2020. The missing person, Lucas, Jami, spelled wrong, by the way. Reports need to be accurate, including name spellings. They couldn't even get this one right. Ran from law enforcement near coordinates such and such and coordinates such and such, the Eastburn Road Northeast. See incident report 20-9387. That's reference to the night for more details on this call. Jamie's mother, Lucas, Sandra K., advised dispatch she had not been able to make contact with her son, is concerned he may be in the woods in the area where he was last seen. Now, this is key. I arrived in the area and conducted drone flights per Sheriff Birch. Flights were concentrated south of the area last seen. I also assisted several deputies and the Minnesota DNR conduct line ground searches of Eastburn Road Northeast to the east and west of the last point seen. During these searches, no signs of Jami were located. Now, the best that we can pinpoint, this search that was initiated because Sandy, the mom, was concerned, and rightly so, was initiated because she complained that where's my son? You guys, and I'm putting words into the narrative. I'm building my own narrative here, if you will. She's like, where's my kid? And now we have Robert Landreville's report. What I don't understand about this report from Robert Landreville is he filed this report in September of 2020. Over 3 months, 2 months and change. He filed this report from the day of this search. There's no way that I believe that this is within keeping in Cass County's policy and procedure when it comes to writing reports. There's no way that I believe that that is in keeping with how they require their staff to run reports. I'm going to read this report to you. I, Deputy Landreville, on 7/5/2020 at 13:33, responded to assist with the search for a missing male. The male was identified as Jami Lyle Lucas, who fled from deputies on an earlier call. I searched the woods with other deputies and the use of the department drone. We covered the area along the road to the power line on State 6. The male was not found at this time. The mother showed up at the search area and was notified of what we have covered so far. We covered all the trails leading to the south with the use of conservation officers and ATVs. The power lines running to the County 48, the Lake Washburn Road, was also searched by ATV. In talking with seasonal cabin people, they would call if they saw the male in the area. Now, we're going to look at a picture. Well, first we're going to look at the DNR sent 2 DNR officers. All we can pinpoint for searchers, the only searchers that we can pinpoint for this event are 2 DNR officers who did not file actual reports of their activities. Let that sink in. They searched for at least 2 hours. Like I said, but the best we can pinpoint is about 2 hours. They searched for 2 hours. They searched trails. They searched the roads and ditches. So basically, they walked ditches, they walked trails, and they walked power line cuts for a couple of hours, talked to some seasonal cabin people, and said, hey, if you see anything, let us know. That's it. That's what they did. That's all they did, folks. They failed in their pursuit of him. couldn't be bothered to care what had happened to him until Sandy calls and says, "Where's my son? What did you do with my kid?" And then she shows up and they go, "Oh yeah, we searched here, and we searched here. The rest is on you." I'm supposed to believe that had this been one of their own, or maybe, and we've already talked about this, Jami is the perfect victim for these guys. Jami is the perfect person to be abandoned, because in their eyes, he's nothing but a criminal. He's a worthless roustabout who doesn't deserve the time of day it takes to spend searching for him. These cops don't give a damn. These cops don't care. They don't care if they find Jami. They and shout out to Tonda. By the way, I said Tanda in the last show. It's Tonda. Shout out to Tonda. She has done an amazing amount of legwork. She is the reason why the search is happening on Wednesday the 6th, by the way. But had Tonda not gotten involved, we wouldn't have any of this information. And so when I say that we only know for a fact that there were 4 people searching, it's because we only have the reports from 2 deputies and the statement of a dispatch log from the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources saying that we sent out X number of DNR officers. That's it. We have no other reports. They don't give a damn about Jami. And Tonda, in a conversation with the now former sheriff, took very detailed notes in her conversation with this man. And this man said, first of all, he couldn't even remember the situation very well. But then when she refreshed his memory, he started to recall some incidents. And one of the things that he said in passing was, well, I believe, and I've reported this to you guys before, I believe he's gone off to Missouri in hiding. He's in hiding. He took off to Missouri. How did he do that? How did Jami take off to Missouri without any transportation, without anything on him, no way to get there? And if we look at this log, the call log from that night one more time, if you see down here, it was at 9:07. So not even a full hour later, they towed the motorcycle away. And within a very short span of time, that motorcycle was turned over to his significant other, Ashley, and no one has basically seen it since. So they gave up in their pursuit of him, and they had no desire to find him afterwards. None. Now, we're going to take a look at the area that they were flying a drone in, all right? They're using a drone, because drones, everybody talks about how wonderful drones are. Oh, it's great. We've got drones. We've got this. We've got that. This picture that you're looking at right here, they used a drone in this search grid along this. What's a drone going to find here? Folks, you tell me, what can a drone find there? And folks, I want to make sure that you understand that drones are great. I'm in support of drones for lots of stuff. But drones do not have the capability that everybody thinks they do. You cannot fly a drone over this dense of a area and expect that you're going to be able to find anybody. And the other part of this is you've got what we can only count what they gave us for reports, right? Just remember that. We can only count what they gave us for reports. 4 law enforcement officials, 2 deputies, 2 DNR officers searched for roughly 2 hours by walking trails or being on ATVs and flying a drone and going up power line cuts for 2 hours. That's Jami ran into the thick of those woods. That's what he did. I mean, that's what we're being told. That allegedly Jami ran into those woods and was pursued into those woods. And we're supposed to believe, by any stretch of normalcy, that's a dedicated search, that they care in this situation. Now we have one more incident that we're going to take a look at here. This report is from Seth Robinson on July 17th, so 14 days after Jami goes missing. On July 17th of 2020, Seth Robinson with the Cass County Sheriff's Office was patrolling Eastburn Road area north of Outing. I made contact with loggers who were working in the area where Jami was last seen. None of these fools can spell his name right. I mean, if they know him to be such a terrible criminal, you'd think they'd have the right name of his right spelling of his name. I advised them that we were looking for a male who was last seen in the area. They were advised it had been some time since he had any contact with anyone and may still be in the woods. One of the loggers, Josh Putnam, stated that he was walking one of their timber sales and came across several crows eating on something west of Eastburn Road. Josh stated that he did not walk up to it to see what it was. Josh escorted me to the area. He walked back to the area where he saw the crows. We walked back to the area where he saw the crows. We searched the area and nothing was located. He stated that he saw the crows on July 8th. Nothing could be found or smelled in that area. End of report. You have a missing person here. You have a person that if it is of his own volition, you have a person who's gone missing at this point 14 days prior, and you've got loggers reporting to you that they saw crows eating something in the woods, and you don't even think to initiate a more detailed search. You just walk over and you don't smell anything, so you leave. What? But in digging into this, so here we are, nearly 6 years later. We have a half-assed search 2 days after he went missing. 14 days later, we have a lackluster attempt at investigating what somebody reported was a murder of crows snacking on something in the woods, making all a fuss. If you've never seen crows do that, that's a noisy thing. Then Tonda comes on scene in 2024, right? At this point, Jami still has not been officially listed as a missing person. And she went to work, and finally the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension did get him listed as a missing person October 2024. So 4 years later. I don't think Cass County officially listed him as missing in their case files at all yet. October 24th, Tonda and her husband and another went and did their own little search where Tonda found a piece of what she thought was evidence, and that was turned into somebody for testing. She finally was able to put pressure on the Cass County Sheriff's Office and was able to secure a promise from Seth Robinson. And let's see if I still have that image. Let me see if I got that. Yeah, here we go. Here we have that image. Good morning. Thank you for the missing person alert information. Now that winter is over and temps are comfortable. Protect and serve, right? We are working with the BCA to plan a search. Any new information or points of interest would be greatly appreciated. That was April 29th of 2025. So just a little over a year ago. Then she gets another email from Seth Robinson, investigator with Cass County. Good morning, Tonda. I wanted to, by the way, remember, this is a very, he's a great investigator. Good morning, Tonda. I wanted to let you know that there is a search schedule that is occurring soon. Currently, it is going to be private law enforcement search. That's all we need to talk about there. It's a private law enforcement search. That's it. We're not announcing that we're searching for Jami. We're not looking for help. We're not bringing anybody else in. Just we, the cops of Cass County Sheriff's Office, we're going to do a private law enforcement search. Now, why? Why? Why would we wait 5 years? Roughly 5 years. Why would we wait roughly 5 years, Cass County Sheriff's Office, knowing that Jami has not been seen since July 3rd of 2020, when your deputies, chased him into the woods, chased him to his inevitable demise? Why would you wait 5 years to finally get off your asses and go and do a search, but then make it private? That doesn't sound like sunlight being the best disinfectant to me. That sounds like we're going to go out and we're going to look for him, but we're going to do it in private so that if we find something, we can get rid of it. And you could say, "Oh, you don't trust cops at all anymore, and you're just bitter." I'm bitter because of crap like this. I'm bitter because of this stuff. I'm bitter because they treat Jami and his family and his loved ones like trash. If this had been somebody big from the community, somebody, and when I say big, I'm speaking of that euphemistically, because I don't think that Jami wasn't a big deal. Jami is a big deal precisely because he deserves to be treated like everybody else. He's a human being with intrinsic value. He's a human being that has worth because he's a human being. His humanity makes him valuable to humanity. And the Cass County Sheriff's Office doesn't see him that way. They still don't see him that way. And it took him 5 years to organize a search, which, by the way, we cannot verify ever actually took place last year. Because if we could verify it, we would have the documents. And if we had the documents that could verify it, I would be showing them to you. But we have no documents to show that that search ever freaking took place. We have an email that says we're going to do a private one with the BCA, but that's it. You're not entitled to know anything, and you're not entitled to be there. And we're not going to tell you where it is, and we're not going to tell you exactly what we're going to do. And good on Tonda for staying on top of these stupid sons of guns. I'm not even kidding. Good on her for staying on top of them, because now Tonda's relentless, dogged determination to find Jami and bring home his remains so his mom can tell him goodbye, so his kids can say goodbye to their daddy. At least we have a search coming up in a couple of days. If it wasn't for Tonda, this wouldn't be happening. But the thing that people need to understand is that unless you're a big mover and shaker in a community, unless you tick all the right boxes, ask the natives in that area how important when one of them go missing it is to local law enforcement. I'm throwing that out there. This isn't an ethnic thing. This isn't a race thing. I'm not making it about, ethnicity or race. I'm making it about what law enforcement in that area, which, by the way, when you talk to other law enforcement from around the state of Minnesota, Cass County is repeatedly called out as one of the most corrupt agencies in the entire state. If you get to know law enforcement, and that says a lot, by the way, because there is some dirty, dirty, dirty law enforcement agencies in the state of Minnesota. Dirty. Like Minnesota State Patrol is like the number one, let's cover our tracks and make sure that our people are protected type agencies. And even the Minnesota State Patrol is like, yeah, Cass County is dirty. Everybody knows it. You go to the Help Find Jami Lucas Facebook page, and people are like, yeah, it doesn't surprise me with Cass County. And we're not talking about people making comments with long criminal histories, by the way. We're talking about people making comments who have lived in Cass County their entire lives and never been in trouble with the law, going, excuse me. I told you I wasn't feeling well. Cass County has a reputation amongst its own citizenry and amongst other law enforcement agencies and other governmental bodies all across the state of being dirty. And the way they have treated Jami Lucas and his mom especially, and anybody who's interested in being involved, wait until we're going to talk about the buildup to this search after the search. I've got some things to say. But I want the search to happen. But what does Cass County think they're going to find 6 years later? And I'll tell you what Cass County thinks they're going to find. They don't think anything they're going to find. They know what they're going to find. And it comes down to two things. They know they're going to find his body because they made sure it would be someplace where it could be found because they've had plenty of time to orchestrate that. Two, they know they're not going to find anything because they've had plenty of time to orchestrate that. See, what I'm going to posit to you is, at the very least, Cass County did not do their due diligence. They did not use due regard in going to find Jami that night or in the subsequent days after. And they know that they failed. They know they failed. So at the very least, they were inept. That's on the best. That's giving them the most benefit of the doubt that you could give them. At the very best, they were inept and they screwed up, and they know they're directly responsible for the missing status of Jami and his death. Everybody with any logic knows that Jami is no longer alive. They all know that. And I have had that conversation with Tonda. And I know that Tonda has had that conversation with others. And I know that Sandy is prepared for that inevitable reality. So best case scenario on Wednesday, this very orchestrated search, which searches have to be orchestrated, but this very controlled and orchestrated search will produce what appear to be the remains of Jami Lyle Lucas on his birthday. But there will be no ability to investigate of whether or not there was foul play involved. And it'll be chalked up as death by misadventure. If Jami hadn't run, he wouldn't have died in the woods. That's best case scenario. Worst case scenario, we don't find Jami's remains on Wednesday. And the family is left grieving. And we have other things we're going to be looking into about where Jami could be. But Jami did not leave those woods alive that night. Everybody knows that. Every single human being that's been paying attention to this case knows that Jami did not leave those woods alive that night. And I tell you what, if on May 6th, on Wednesday, Jami walks into the local sheriff's office and turns himself in and says, yes, I've been in hiding for 6 years, I will be the first person to eat crow. I will go live the minute I find out, and I will say I was wrong. I will 100% come out at the minute I find out that he's alive, and I will say I was wrong, and I will apologize to every single person that I have lambasted for failing. Because that's important to me. But I'm 99.9%, because you can never be 100, but I'm 99.999999999 ad infinitum % positive that Jami is gone. And Cass County knows it. And they're going to control the narrative around how he's found, if he's found. Because they have been trying to control the narrative about Jami and his life ever since July 3rd of 2020. And no, I don't believe that one single member of the law enforcement career field in Cass County or in the state of Minnesota is on anyone's side but their own in this situation. Okay, I'm going to make that perfectly clear. And I don't care who disagrees with me. I don't care if Nat, my researcher, disagrees with me. I don't care if Tonda and Sandy disagree with me. I don't care. Nobody in law enforcement is on your side in this. No one is on your side. Law enforcement is on one side and one side only, and it is on the thin blue line side. That's it. They are on the thick blue line of silence in this situation. They are all in on this in one way, shape, or form. Even if a neighboring agency knows what happens, and they're not going to throw a fellow agency under the bus because they all have to work together. They cover for one another. And there's no greater example of this than my story that I've been covering about Blake Mostad and his family and how they've been treated and how multiple agencies covered for each other. Now, I brought that up in the first episode about Jami. The Minnesota Department of Public Safety, the Minnesota State Patrol, Sherburne County Sheriff's Office, Sherburne County's Attorney's Office, and the Dakota County Attorney's Office all covered for the others in their cover-up of what Trooper Ryan Moser did to Blake Mostad and his brother and others on the night of April 9th of 2025. It's just this giant, sickening ball of nepotistic cover for your buddy. So if you meet somebody, if you talk to somebody during, you go and you talk to a deputy in Cass County and they're, oh yeah, well, he's one of the good ones. No, if he's one of the good ones, then he would be out here telling the truth about what's going on in this county. And if you got somebody from an outside agency saying, no, you got to trust these guys. No, you don't. You do not trust them because they're not on anybody's side but their own. They don't give a good damn about anybody but their own reputations. And what they count on is they count on the blind bootlickers who, no matter what a law enforcement agency does, no matter what a law enforcement officer does, they always err on the side of saying, "Oh, well, you don't understand. You don't know how hard the job is. You don't rush into danger. You got to go out there and take care of people you don't want to take care of. You got to watch out. You got to watch out for these people. You got to take care of. They take care of you. They take care of you. Who are you going to call when a crackhead breaks into your house? I'm not calling the cops because when minutes count or when seconds count, cops are hours away. At best, they swoop in and they clean up the mess that got left because you were relying on them to protect you. Or you end up like a Blake Mostad or a Jami Lucas, a victim. You end up a victim. So no, I don't believe a single member of the law enforcement career field involved in the Jami Lyle Lucas case is missing person status. Not one of them. I don't trust one of them. Like what people don't understand. And I got to start to wrap this up. I was supposed to go on 2 Cops and 1 Donut tonight at 7, and I had to bow out because I am wiped, and you guys can hear it. So I'm getting ready to wrap this up. So please share this out because this is really important. People need to understand going into the search on Wednesday that Cass County did searches, but they were half-assed and they were feckless. They were worthless. They lived up to their reputation. They didn't give a damn about Jami. But here's the thing you have to remember about law enforcement. They're taught to lie to you. They are taught to lie to you. No matter who you are, they are taught to lie to you. Am I going to get in trouble? No. You just go ahead and talk. You talk. I'm on your side. I'm here for you. I'm here for you. You talk to me. Talk to me. Don't trust anybody else, but you talk to you could trust me. I'm the good guy. You talk to me. You trust me. I'll help you. I'll get what you want. No, they're not. They're feeding whatever you tell them. They're feeding to somebody else so that they can come up with a game plan to shut you down. That's everybody. You never talk to cops. You don't trust cops in any capacity. You do not trust cops because they are trained to be the good guys in the sense of, we joke about good cop, bad cop in TV crime shows and stuff, or in crime novels. Somebody's going to play good cop. Somebody's going to play bad cop. But in that situation, the guy that's playing the good cop is playing the good cop because he's going to turn everything over to the bad cop to use against you. So if you're out here and you've got a case, and it's like if the Mosteds all of a sudden have somebody from the inside comes up and says, "Hey, I'll run cover for you on this. I'll help." No, they won't. They're going to use whatever information they can get to continue to cover up, and it's going to be the same thing with this. If somebody from the Cass County Sheriff's Office all of a sudden starts buddying up to Tonda or Sandy, it's not going to be for their good. It's going to be to cover something up. There are no good guys on the law enforcement side in this story. And 6 years later, if they do happen to go out and find Jami's body on Wednesday, which I'm 100% positive that they won't, 99.99% positive that they won't. But if they do, who's going to investigate it? What's there going to be to investigate? He's not going to be anything but skeletal remains at this point. And like, how are you going to prove what happened? Unless you find a skull and there's actually a bullet hole in it. God forbid that's what happens. But even then, who's going to investigate it? Cass County going to investigate themselves? They would love to. They would love to. Cass County would love to investigate themselves and tell you that we've investigated ourselves and we found we've done nothing wrong. BCA is going to investigate? Yep, we've got the remains. Inconclusive. If Jami hadn't run, he wouldn't have died. That's what their conclusion will be. You want to know why we know that? Because it's the same thing that we got told about Trooper Ryan Moser and the accident that he caused doing over 126 miles an hour with cell phone in his hand and playing on a computer when he paralyzed Blake Mosted. They pinned it all on Dale Braun and said that he was going to face all the charges for the catastrophic injuries. Even though I demonstrated that Trooper Moser broke the law, blatantly violated the law, and should be held accountable. See, when an agency investigates itself and finds it did nothing wrong, it knows that if it investigates itself and finds it did nothing wrong, other agencies are going to just get in on it and go, yep, they're right. They didn't do anything wrong. Because all they care about is their blue line. That's it. And so we can spend hundreds of dollars to train truffle pigs to go out and find truffles. And then as the tax-paying wage slave tax cattle, we can spend thousands upon thousands of dollars to train cops to do their jobs well, all over the state of Minnesota and all over the country. And ask them to go find Jami nearly 6 years ago, and nothing could be done. They couldn't do it. And they get paid damn well to do nothing. So tune in. I will do an update as soon as I have any information about what happened, what happens at the search on Wednesday. I am sorry. You guys are probably expecting fireworks tonight. The next episode, we will be reviewing the full body cam footage that we have, and we're going to talk about the body cam footage that we have and what else is missing from recordings from the night of the pursuit of Jami. There's more to it than just the 17 minutes that we have of body cam footage. There's a whole lot more to it, and it's very damning for Cass County. Very, very damning for Cass County. And that will be the next episode, but I don't know for sure when that's coming out. And no matter what the outcome of the search is on Wednesday, we will be covering this entire story until I believe it has run its course. And if there's anybody out there who's like, oh, you're just covering this because, or you're going to cover it the way, no, I cover stories the way I want to cover stories. And I cover stories until I believe they're done. And I build the narrative based on the facts of the situation, which is why Natalie is such a valuable part of this story in particular, because she's doing all the work that I need done so that I am able to pull threads together the way they need to be pulled so I can present the story to you. So as I progress telling the story, I'll be telling it my way. No one builds my narrative. No one writes my scripts, because I don't write scripts. Two, because I know how cops work. I know the truth about cops. I know how they talk. I know how they talk to each other. I know how they talk to you about each other. And I know what they will tell you versus what's true. And there's not a single law enforcement agency or a law enforcement officer involved in this case that's a good guy on this story. And that includes the sheriff and how they're trying to control the media narrative around this. That's it, folks. I'm wrapping up. We'll see you soon.
We are going for liftoff in T-minus 30.
Stand by for further instructions, Minnesota Black Robe Regiment.
Secondary guidance systems engaged.
Minnesota Black Robe Regiment, it will be on my mark.
All systems are a go. All systems are a go.
Minnesota Black Robe Regiment, you are over the target. You are authorized to fire at